In urban communities such as we live, we have garbage service every week. But perhaps some of you remember former days or former places and the memories of going to the dump, especially if you ever lived in more rural areas. I mourn the fact that my boys will never know the sheer joy of going to a place with such treasures there for the taking. See, from the time that I was 5 till about 9, we lived in this little town where there was no garbage service, and my parents owned a small motel. And so every Saturday, my brothers would load up my father's pickup truck with all of the garbage from the motel that week, and I would go with him, and we would pay 50 cents for entry into this vast wasteland. My mother saw filthy and disgusting refuse. I saw Macy's without price tags. And my dad would let me just roam free at the dump. See, while he offloaded all the garbage out of the truck, then he would stand around and kibitz with the caretaker whose name was Gus. Wasn't everybody's name like that, Gus? Anyway, so I would discover priceless treasures while he was doing his thing, and we would get home, and invariably we would hear the question, "Ed, why did you let him bring that into my house?" And my father would kind of smile and tell me to take my treasure to the garage. We had a huge garage to accommodate all the storage for the motel, and so it was a little corner of it was designated to me and my treasures. My broken Tonka trucks with only 2 wheels, and my G.I. Joes with various appendages ripped off, and I remember particularly a microscope that had the lenses broken out of it. But all were treasures in a boy's eyes, and I felt as rich as Midas when I was sitting there and playing in my little corner of the garage. Jesus came to this earth, which for him was filled with piles of human refuse. It was nothing like the garden that he and his father had created for Adam and Eve. Now it was full of danger. It was full of kings who wanted to kill him, and poisonous snakes, and fire, and flood, and leprosy, and just sort of generally mean people. This was no garden anymore. But Jesus started poking around the dump, and he uncovered a treasure that only he could see. No one else really thought it was very valuable. Most frankly wouldn't even touch the filthy thing. But Jesus was willing to pay for it. In fact, to pay any price for it, and the price was high. And the attendant at this dump was not jolly old Gus, but a horned beast named Satan. And Jesus paid with his life for that filthy, disgusting thing that he so treasured. It was you. He picked you out of that refuse pile. And he washed you with the waters of baptism. And he spoke his word into your ear, and he fed you with his own body and blood. You are his treasure. You are his pearl. You are everything to him. And while you sit in your little corner of the garage waiting for now, one day your time will be complete, and you will be restored, and you will be taken to the place that he has already prepared for you in his mansion. This is the truth for all people. And that is a treasure in itself as well. It is the treasure we find here in this field called Chicagoland. This truth is like a fine pearl that many of us don't even recognize. We don't even see the value of this treasure because most of us were born with silver spoons in our mouths. Most of us were made a part of the family of God before we ever even were aware that there was other possibilities. So we were hauled out of the dump, washed off and placed in our corner of the garage, awaiting the day when we'll be made new again and enter the promised land before we even knew what was being done to us. But the question still resides, what do we do until that day? Well, we share the information. We're right here today because we know that we are treasures. We know that we are pearls of great price. And we come to this place to strengthen our faith, the very hand that grasps the truth. But while we're doing this, that horned beast Satan is busy at work trying to convince our friends and our neighbors that they are useless and they are broken. They're just one-armed G.I. Joes and microscopes with shattered lenses. He wants them to feel that they don't belong with us. They don't deserve to be loved or cherished. He doesn't want them to know that the things of this world that seem so valuable are really fool's gold. And that they, in fact, are the pearl of great price, for whom everything was given, to take them away from this broken world. And it's our calling to share that information that we have been so freely given. To go out and find people and tell them they belong here with us. Go out and find people who don't even know that they're lost and invite them to come and belong here with us. Treasures in the field, seeking to grow in faith, to learn more about the one who redeemed us. And you know, sometimes it's a little annoying when people have been away from the family for a while, because it seems like everybody has some kind of comment. Like, oh, where you been? Haven't seen you. What you been doing? You know, we're here every week. I know, it's a little annoying. But it also speaks volumes. First of all, it says, you know what? You were missed. And second, you're part of this family. And we need you. All the people of our community are pearls of great worth. And we need them. Most of them, right around here in our neighborhood, aren't even worshiping anywhere. It's time for us to go out there and find them and tell them we need them. They belong here. Because see, here's the secret. People don't come to church because of pure doctrine. We'd all love that to be true. It just ain't. And people don't go to church even because of a certain kind of worship or a certain kind of music. People go to church where they feel loved, where they feel connected, like part of the family, like they belong, and that they are intentionally made to feel that way. It's time for us to start gathering the treasures out of our field. Treasures for whom Jesus has died. And that truth is the greatest treasure of all.